Good afternoon everyone, welcome to this fortnight's Flosstube video. I'm going to attempt to be relatively quick. I've just discovered I didn't turn my phone off properly 2 weeks ago that I film on, and it's got 12% battery. So I'm going to try and get this done, otherwise it'll be a while. I would like to welcome everybody who subscribed in the last fortnight. I actually, cheekily, I'm not very good at blowing my own trumpet. I put a post on Stitch Mania and said I'd like to try and crack 200 subscribers by the end of the year, and I had a nice little increase, so welcome along. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. For those of you who have been around for a while, welcome back. I hope 2 weeks has been okay. Or the last 2 weeks has been okay. I had to laugh at Melody, I think your name is, rotating my rotation. That made me laugh, and actually I have rotated the rotation again, but only tweaked it. So I have a finish to show you. I have 3 projects, the 3 that I want to get finished this year, and some haul. So I will crack on. So my finish is by Shakespeare's Peddler, antique scissors and spools, and I only had that side, a little bit left to do on that side, so I cracked on and got that done, and I have even cut it from the, excuse me, the length of fabric it was on. So there is my finish. Yes, and it's a 28 count or 32 count, something like that, raw linen, done in Presidential Blue by Gentle Arts. So this is my first finished piece of Presidential Blue for my Presidential Blue wall to be, and I'm going to say it a lot just to wind up all the girls in my stitchy group who take the piss out of me. They keep going, what's that colour she likes? Anyway. So it's come up really nicely. So that's good. So that's another project down. And then I spent, so I recorded a video 2 weeks ago, so that week that I recorded the video I worked on my Quaker, and then last week I worked on Farmhouse Christmas. And I've done a little bit of stitching this morning because the American Grand Prix was at a much more desirable time for me at 7 o'clock in the morning, so I watched the Grand Prix and I did some stitching. So my Quaker, this is a pre-chart, so I have no problem showing you the chart. I don't have a cover picture at all, but you can find it on the internet relatively easily. So this is the bottom half of the chart, and I'm working over here. So I had, when I showed this to you last, I've got the surround of the squirrel and part of his tail. That's done, that's done, that's done, that's done. So I was down here, and this would be my next step. And that's pretty much what I did. I can't see what I'm showing you. Let's see how we can do this. I didn't think about it very clearly. So that's the next lot. So the squirrel's finished, and the next element is finished. So there's parts of elements here now, which will then mean that page is finished, and that's a 3/4 of the way through. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to hold this up. That's the whole piece currently. Needle in the way. So that's the whole piece as it stands. So there is still a bit to do. It doesn't look like there's a lot left to do, but when you start counting and all of those sorts of things with the little motifs, it does take a bit of time. The needle should be alright. So I think this has probably still got the best part of 2 weeks to go, unless I have a really clear week with not much on and I can really knock it out. And then last week I moved on to Farmhouse Christmas, which is one of my other focus pieces that I want to get finished, and I showed you part 3. November next week and I had still only on part 3, or I was still only on part 3. So when I showed this to you, oh, I have to touch a button. I hope that doesn't cause any problems. I'll find out. When I showed this to you last time, I had got the top of the house done, the roof there, the tree and the birds and the snowman. So I managed to get part 3 finished, minus the snowman's eyes, because I can't decide whether I want to just do black French knots or I want to give them a different colour eyes, so I'm just going to leave them for now. So that's finished, and then I cracked on, threads in the way, and I got part 4 finished. I got up all of this bottom half done by about Thursday, and I thought, do you know what, there's not a lot up here. I could really, if I do it over the weekend, I could have a really good go of getting this block finished. So part 4 is Dairy Darling. So this is a Little House Needleworks chart, which I didn't say before, but you could read. So that's part 4 done. The whole thing at the moment, that's where we're up to. So I really worked on getting part 4 done so that when it comes up again, I basically know over the course of a week I can do a block and a half. If I can do that, then I've got a good chance of getting that at least finished this year, as well as the Quaker. The third project that I want to finish next year, I'm a bit on the fence that it's going to get finished. We might have to amend my plans again. Anyway, I just did a little bit of this morning. This is Orchard Valley Quilting Bee. I have done this quarter completely. I've done that. A little bit in the middle there, and so I just worked on this around this morning, which was relatively easy to do while I was concentrating on the Grand Prix. So I've just brought that round. It's this morning's stitch. I might do a little bit more this afternoon, I'll see, but I've got to plant my potatoes. It's Labour weekend in New Zealand, and in my part of the world you plant your potatoes now. So, okay, I've got, something fell, haul, 2 weeks worth of haul. So, I don't know if I've got it separated still by place, but nothing else in there. Oh yeah. that, and that, yes. So I placed an order with Teresa Shakespeare's Peddler. Her website is kittenstitcher.com. She's on YouTube as Kitten Stitcher, and if you've not watched her before, I highly recommend her. So I got this is a sampling by, I've just realised I haven't taken any of these out of the wrappers, like I never do, but it's quite bright outside, so hopefully we can avoid too much glare and blinding. So this is Teresa's own, well, it's one of Shakespeare's Peddler's charts. A sampling by Anne. So just a nice little house and some motifs. So that's a sampling by Anne. I believe, and I don't know exactly which one it is, but it's taken, the motifs are taken out of one of her other bigger samplers. Then I got, and this is a little picture so it's going to be hard to really see, this is Heart That Gives by You and I and Friends. Oh yeah, you can see it enough. It's not a very clear picture, but that looked quite nice to me. So that'll go in the One Day to Be Stitched pile. And then I added to my Brenda Gervais collection, this is Good Deeds, and I love tulips, so this is one of the reasons why I went with this. I'm not sure if I'll do the words, although I quite like the words, so I like that. And the other one that I got from Teresa is Brenda Gervais again, Sampler Hill. It's a dark picture, it's not going to show. Okay, I should just shut up really and show, shouldn't I? It's dark when I look at it, but when I look at it on the screen it's actually quite light. So, and talking of Brenda Gervais, if you don't follow her on Instagram or Facebook, you should. She has just released pictures of the 5, I think it's 5 charts she's releasing in time for Christmas this year. I think I want all 5. Sam, I think I want all 5. So, and they made me think that I need to go back and look at a couple of others. Priscilla of Chelsea and Priscilla fame has just done the Halloween mice, and I keep looking at that thinking I quite like that because I like the Christmas version that Brenda is about to release. So I'm wondering if I need to get a few more of the mice. Anyway, okay, the next order I got was from a shop I hadn't used before, and I went to them because about 3 months ago a lady on Stitch Mania posted some photos of her trip to the Dixie Darling, is that what it's called? In Pigeon Forge in Tennessee. I may have got the name wrong, I'm thinking of something completely different. Anyway, that place. And in there was a chart that really caught my eye, and she told me the name of it, so I went searching on the internet and I found the shop that had it. The shop said it would take 2 to 3 weeks. It was more like 2 to 3 months. So needless to say, I've got my package, but I won't be using them again. I got, this is a Jardin Bleu in my West French, ooh la la, by Tralala. Very little house needleworksy, but I love all those blue flowers. I got that. I got Mrs. Maguire's Hen House by Pineberry Lane. Sorry, try not to give you glare, but let you see. I got this. I had completely forgotten what was in my order, and I had this, you know, you open the package and you're like, oh my goodness, I didn't know I ordered that. I'm in love. This is by Samplers Not Forgotten, and it is called Joyful Song, and it is a very strong contender for a start next year. I absolutely love it. I'll hold it back so you can see the wording. Joyful Song. Lovely, love it. And this is the chart that started it all. This is a Linda Myers chart. It's a, I'll just put the sticker over half the words. I think it's a series called Quilt Samplers, and this is Calico Village. Seeing this rendition of it, I don't like the border at all. So I need to go back and check the photo that I looked at, because I'm considering just doing the inside and not doing the border. I don't know yet. And I don't have any immediate plans to do it. I just really liked it. I like the houses, because I like houses. So, and the other thing, I finally printed off. I mentioned last week that I have brought the sale for the Tiny Modernist Santa's House Stitch Along 2018. And I was being dense and said I didn't know if I had paid $15 for the whole sale or per part. I think it's the whole sale, because I've got the second part and I haven't been asked to pay again. So this is where it's at the moment. So parts 1 and 2 have been released. Part 1 is all the outside, and part 2 is the dining room. And I think the parts are being released fortnightly. And I just think it's adorable. The little snowman down here. It's so cute. So, alright, we're at 14 minutes. I haven't had any more low battery signs. The numbers are ticking over. Teresa always throws something extra in your package, so I got a skein of Anchor. This is, I'm sure it's Anchor, I think I saw the Anchor here. It's a very nice blush. I'm not going to get a good colour because of the light. A very nice blush pink, very pretty. Okay, so that's me done with my update. I'm continuing to do, I'm going to do a week per 3 of those 3 projects. So initially last fortnight ago I said I would do Monday to Friday on the focus pieces, and at the weekend I'd work on my bigger pieces. I've decided to not do that at all. I just want to crack on and get these pieces finished. I need the Quaker to finish relatively quickly so that I can give that time to the other two projects and hope I can get them finished by the end of the year. So this week's Orchard Valley Quilting Bee, and next week it'll be the Quaker again. I've got no haul in the post, other than I'm awaiting the arrival of my first instalment from my floss club that I belong to through Sam at Mind My Needle. So that hopefully should turn up in the next week or so. And then, as I say, I've got my eye on these new Brenda Gervais and one of the Country Cottage Needleworks new pieces I quite like the look of as well. So that'll be something I'll look into later this week or next week. Alright, I'm not tempting fate, we're working, I'm going. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for those of you that take the time to comment. I really appreciate that. A couple of them I got the emails from through my iPad, and when I looked on the video through my iPad, the comments didn't appear. I don't know if they're on my laptop, and when I go into YouTube I'll check that out shortly when I upload this, but if I haven't replied to you, it's because it didn't show up. You've obviously got your settings where your comments don't show or something like that, and I had already deleted the email to go to YouTube and say thank you to you or whatever I was replying to, and you're not there. So if you commented last week, 2 weeks ago, and I haven't liked you or replied to you, that's why. It may now happen, as I say, because I'm going to fire up the laptop to do all of this now, and I usually go through and check that I haven't missed any comments at the same time. So it may turn up a reply from me, but if it doesn't, it means that I've got the email alert, and I now need to get into the habit of not deleting the emails until I've checked I can actually reply to it. Does that make sense? Waffle. Okay, I'll see you in 2 weeks. With not much to show. It won't be as long a video as this time. That's my only worry about not doing as much per time, but progress is progress, eh? Have a good fortnight. Stitch everything you want to stitch. Buy everything you want to buy. Save some of those Brenda Gervais charts for me. Don't buy them all. And I will catch you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks everyone. Bye.